The Hilltop Glove Podcast is sponsored by Mid-Carolina Service Company.
Mid-Carolina Service Company is the first name to search for your residential or commercial HVAC needs in Lexington and surrounding areas.
Just go holler at Jason and Clint. They'll hook you up on the air conditioners, on the restaurant equipment, refrigerators, refrigeration, ice machine repair. They've been doing this for years. I know them cats forever.
Family owned and operated since 2006, they pride themselves in their quality work and customer relationships. Call 803-356-4153 or visit midcarolinaserviceco.com for a no obligation quote for service today. This episode of Hilltop Glove Podcast is brought to you by the Simon Marketing Agency, turning ordinary business into extraordinary one since 2020. Simon, Jamz, and his team do the hard work of attracting new customers so you can focus on making your business exceptional. As a brand marketing expert, Simon specializes in creating a unique and unforgettable identity for your business. From generating awareness to captivating content creation and strategic advertising, Simon Marketing Agency has you covered. Elevate your business today. Give them a call at 843-942-8880 or email them at simon@simon.com. Visit them at www.simonmarketing.agency. Make sure to follow them on Instagram at BrandSimonTV.
This episode of the Hilltop Glove Podcast is sponsored by Bob's. Bob's is a Columbia-based retailer of over 100 Black-owned products from 20 Black-owned businesses. Bob's offers a wide range of items from household cleaning, cosmetics, and everything in between. With every visit to Bob's, you support Black-owned businesses, giving them the opportunity to grow and establish connections with our community. Bob's is located inside the Noma warehouse at 2222 Sumter Street in Columbia, South Carolina. Visit their website, shopbobs.com for in-store pickup or to find out more. Bob's can also be found via social media on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at We Shop Bob's. When you stop by, tell them the Hilltop Glove sent you. Bob's brings quality Black brands to the Columbia community. The Hilltop Glove Podcast is sponsored by True Brilliance Entertainment.
True Brilliance is a production, promotions, and management company dedicated to connecting artists and producers across the Carolinas to music industry professionals.
Several of their clients have placements both domestic and internationally as a result of their services.
Are you an artist or producer looking to build meaningful relationships within the music industry? Then True Brilliance is for you. Check them out at paramilitary.com. That's spelled P-A-I-R-A military.com.
Welcome to the Hilltop Glove Podcast.
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 The Hilltop Glove Podcast.
Welcome to the Hilltop Glove Podcast. In today's episode, we have the pleasure of introducing Kris Kaylin, also known as the Princess of Charleston. Kris is the dynamic media personality and podcast host who graduated from South Carolina State University in 2016. Her distinctive voice has graced the airwaves of Charleston's local radio station, as well as the popular shows like The Breakfast Club with Charlamagne the God and DJ Envy. Alongside Clay, who she co-hosts the What Was Said podcast, where they dive into trending topics, current events, and they share the latest gossip. Don't forget to follow them on social media, subscribe to their YouTube channel, and engage in most of their... Sorry, let me do that over. Don't forget to follow them on social media and subscribe to their YouTube channel for engaging content. Stay in the loop with Kris Kaylin's weekly updates on her community events in Charleston. Kris has received numerous accolades, including being recognized by the South Carolina State 30 Under 30, Boss on the Rise, and South Carolina's Black Caucus 40 Professionals to Know. Her dedication to her craft and the commitment to providing insightful content has earned her a well-deserved place among the emerging talents in the media industry. How are you doing today?
Oh, first of all, thank you. That was an amazing intro. Thank you. I'm like, oh, you talking about me?
Yes, you do a lot in the community, like a lot. Everywhere I go, everybody like, yes, we know the Princess of Charleston. I follow you. Definitely inspired by you, because being a personality host and like a media mogul, that's like you're merging two different areas together, and the way that you have grown your brand and your name is just like remarkable.
Thank you. So, I appreciate that.
I'm proud of you.
Sometimes I'm just like, I don't feel like I'm doing enough, but like when I hear things like this, I'm like, okay.
And when I was looking at your like bio and your history, I'm like, she do a lot. Like, I'm like, I didn't know she did all this stuff. So like, how do you even do it all? You have a team, or is it just you?
Okay, so like for like the last couple of years, it was just the one-man band. So now like with Clay, you know, we do the podcast together, but I do the editing and I break all that stuff down. So really, it's like a team of 1, 2. I have my stylist, Ty, but like when it comes down to anything media related, it's just completely independent. So like I always tell myself, when I actually get like a PR and a manager, like I can only imagine like where I'll go. But everything I'm doing right now as a one-man band, just pushing it along. So all of my content down to my podcast, I edit everything. Sure. I do all the
marketing.
I do all the marketing. Like I live on Canva. So I live on Canva. I live in CapCut. So like even down, so like now for In the Loop, actually a young lady reached out to me with her videographer, and like they just like we just want to film it. So I'm like, I don't have to do it anymore, because like my mom films it. Like my mom is behind the camera on In the Loop. So like actually I haven't told her this yet, but I'm gonna be retiring her services. And only because we're just elevating it. So I'm not gonna do it on Mother's Day. I'm gonna let her know before the episode comes out though. But no, just to have the opportunity for someone to like see what you're doing and be like, look, I just want to help. I just want to feed into the brand how I can. And like they reached out to me, so she was like, we just want to do this, me and my videographer. And I'm like, well, shoot, I would love to do that. Anything that I have to do, then the better. But yeah, so like everything is like a one-man band. But I just love being able to control the content that I'm putting out. I don't have to wait on anyone's time. And that's the thing. So we did have somebody doing our podcast, but like the amount of money we were being charged and just not coming out when we wanted it to. And it's like, you know, I used to edit, right? You know, I can film my own stuff, right? So it's just like, okay, let me just do this myself. And that's just, you know, what it came to. But it's just like being able to control that. But me and Clay always say, we know we made it when we'll just have someone edit this for us. All we gotta do is sit down and leave. So like, yes,
we trying to get there too, right?
This is Mike thing right there.
Oh no, I hate editing. I absolutely hate editing.
We can all edit.
And that's the thing, is like I can do it, but it's just kind of like I'm like option Z. It's like I can do it, but it's just like, do we exhaust every other option? So yeah, but I mean, I enjoy it, you know, just being able to put the content out. And I've been doing this since Bulldog Bite. So like that was 2013, 2014.
You don't think that's 9 to 10 years?
Yeah. So like I always tell people, I was like, you know, if TikTok and Instagram was what it was back then, I would have been out of here by now. Like I would have been like TikTok queen. And so every time I often think about that, I'm like, you know what? If I was doing like Bulldog Bite back then, like if TikTok and now was how all this social media stuff, like, because it was Instagram, it was cool, but it wasn't like what it is now. So I definitely feel like I was ahead of the curve by like 10 years. But if you stick to what you know, if you stick to what you're good at, I cracked before, so I know I can crack again.
So what did you study at South Carolina State?
So I went in as a business marketing major, took accounting, failed it with flying colors. Shout out to Dr. O for failing me, because if it was not for him, I would have not switched my major. And it's crazy. Yeah, like I had a tutor and everything, and I was like, accounting is not for me. Like the numbers were just like dancing across the page, nothing made sense. And I was just like, so when I went in, I was like, you know, if I get a business degree, I'll get a job when I graduate. My whole thing is like getting a job. But then like once I took that accounting class, and that was like the first time I failed in my entire academic career. Like I never got an F in my entire academic career till I took that class. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna switch my major. And so like my friend's like, no, you shouldn't do it. And you know how sometimes when you know you just need to listen to your gut and yourself. Like I know y'all are trying to be encouraging, but like
but also
no, this is not working. Like, yo, do y'all not see these numbers like doing a milli rock across the page? Like, what are we talking about here? But yeah, no, so like I just went up to my advisor and I was like, I want to do what Ryan Seacrest does. And they were just like, okay, so switch my major to broadcast communications. And like at the time I stayed, like the program was just building. Like so it was just getting to where it is. So like honestly, everything I did on Bulldog Bite, I found on YouTube University. So like I always keep my first episode up on YouTube because my people were orange. Like I really didn't know anything about sound, color, none of that. But I had an idea. And I always tell people, if you have an idea, if you can build off of that, just keep going. Like, because people come up to me now and they're like, well, how do I start a podcast? I don't got mics. You got a camera. You got a phone. Like,
let's go.
You can do anything with your phone. So it's like, you just cannot let that be an excuse. And if you're in school, you can rent cameras out. Like, and you ain't even got to use
your local library. You might still be able to.
Right. And so my whole thing is like, now it's just too many options. Like you say, everybody got a phone. Everyone has a phone. You got toddlers with iPads. So Barry Look has an iPad and do what you got to do. Right. But yeah, so it's just kind of like I had an idea and I built on that. So I don't know if y'all remember the show like Guy Code, Girl Code.
Yeah, on MTV. Yeah.
So we're telling our age, absolutely. But like, so I used to watch it and I was like, I'm just going to borrow this idea. So I stole the idea, but I made it about HBCUs. So we talked about Fried Chicken Wednesday, financial aid, homecomings, the Walk of Shame, like all of these. Like so all of these different things. So I ended up having like 3 seasons of it. And, you know, I just got like my friends to be cast members. And like just to see the growth, how it started, we ended up with I had a jingle for the show. Like we had like an intro, like all of these different things. And like I'll never forget this guy who went to Clemson. He was like, we have a watch parties for Bulldog Bite. And I'm like, oh,
what?
So
in Clemson.
Right. So I was just like, oh, this is like a big thing. So I'll never forget, like we did an SC State versus Claflin episode that got like 80,000 views, like my highest viewed thing on YouTube. So like, of course, when I graduated, I didn't want to be like the older person who's still hanging out on campus. So it's like, you don't want to be that person. Right. So I was like, what am I going to do next? So that's when it flipped. Like I had all these subscribers. So it was like, what am I going to do? Yeah. So I like talking to people. I like interviewing people. So it turned into the Charleston Summer Series. And at the time, Jarrell Jerome, he was here filming Mr. Mercedes. Okay. And it was a show that was like on HBO. And then like this is right before he left to go do When They See Us, How They See Us. So I interviewed him because he was like doing music at the time. And then it did really well. And I realized I was interviewing like chefs, boutique owners, just like different people around the city. But when I interviewed musical artists, that's where I got the most views. So I'm like, aha, I need to stick to this. So ended up interviewing him, just like a lot of local artists. And I was interviewing local artists that like the Post and Courier and the Charleston City paper were like overlooking. Yep. And the thing about like Charleston is just kind of like, you have to be palatable for white audiences. Like even if you're like a hip hop, if you're a rapper from Charleston, you still got to be palatable for white people, for them to even give you any type of acknowledgement, to put you on any platform, to even say, like, you're decent. I'm marketing. So the only person that was palatable for them was, like, he changed his name, but it was Matt Monday now, but I forgot what his name was before, and, like, Benny Starr. And, like, these were, like, the only black people that you would see. And you would see, like, Anthony and stuff like that, but, like, it wasn't, like, UNC Harley Boy, UNC a VT, UNC... So you wouldn't see a Lobaj, you wouldn't see LOBG. So I'm just like, but these people are talented. So guess what? I have a platform now. So that's when I just started interviewing those artists. And so it kind of came full circle. Like the city paper ended up interviewing me about this whole thing, and like it was an article. But it's just kind of like now it was just like, so then it was like, you know, putting a spotlight on these artists. So from then, like, and I always tell people I never applied for a radio station. They came to me. So I was like, so I was like at one of these like rap show events. Because, like, I would go to the shows to listen to the artists and see, like, you know, I'm in the scene. So, like, if I want to interview you, like, either I'm coming to get B-roll or just to see, like, who's in the scene. So, like, one of the girls, she worked at the station. She was like, do you want to be on radio? And I'm like, girl, I got a face with TV. Like, I wasn't interested at all. And then, like, she was persistent about it. She was like, you know, I told my program director about you. Like, she's interested. You just got to do an ear check. So, like, I was like, what the hell is an ear check? So, like, for those who don't know, an ear check is like a audio resume. An audio resume. So you pretty much chop up everything and you just put it in like a minute segment and you send it over to PDs.
It's highlight reel.
Almost like audio reel.
So is it like your resume?
So like at the time I wasn't doing radio. So like I would go to the studio and I would just record stuff. So like she would show me how to do breaks and things like that. So I sent it over to the station like December, didn't hear anything back. So at the time I'm still working at South Carolina State, driving back and forth every day from Charleston. I know. I was literally insane. And I was the admissions counselor, so I was traveling to Charleston, Orangeburg. Then when I have somewhere to go, like driving all the way to DC by myself, driving back, driving all these different places because I'm the only traveling admissions counselor.
You have to go to events.
Yeah.
Forget about
admissions, college fairs, just all of these. So I'm traveling all across South Carolina, out of state, and like it was just a thing. And at a certain point in time, your body's gonna shut down.
Yeah.
So like I was just like, I can't do this anymore. So like the day I put in my 2 weeks, the next day I was driving to work, I got a call from the radio station. It was like, we want you to start on Saturday. And I was like, shit, I should have quit earlier.
I would have had more time off.
Right.
That's how the universe works. You just make a little spot and it just fills right up.
Literally.
I'm waiting for you to tell me.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was like, sometimes you just got to take that leap. So I started on Saturday, then I got Saturday and Sunday, had the #1 weekend spot, Ricky Smiley Morning Show. And then I will say, like, even when the pandemic happened, that's where I got the most interviews. So like I talked to Brandy. Like Brandy, I still have my Brandy dolls. Yes. Moesha with the braided bar. Like, so from her to Kanye West to 50 Cent to Kehlani, Beaking, like it's just so many people I got a chance. Megan Thee Stallion. And it's just like, these are the interviews that ended up going viral. So Megan Thee Stallion, Kanye West, and 50 Cent, they went viral. And yeah, just being able to like build off of those things and just to see like, you know, if you study your craft, if you know what you're doing, like things that just happen. So like I was saying, you know, with the Bulldog Bite thing, if I can crack it before and figure out how to do this, I can do this again.
You cracked it. You made your own avenue. That's what I can say.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just like almost with everything, even like within the loop. So like after I ended up leaving the radio station, what I was doing was a segment on the local news station. So I was there just covering all the events or whatever. There was an incident that happened and, you know, literally got blackballed in Charleston. Absolutely insane, which is literally got blackballed in Charleston. And so I got pulled off the TV segment. And I'm just like, dang, like, so every time, like, I always tell people, like, even with Bulldog Bite, like, that came from a dark place. You know what I'm saying? A really depressed, a dark place. Like, Bulldog Bite came, I think, it was like, dang, what happened that time? But, like, I went out for AKA the first time, didn't make it, came out with Bulldog Bite. You know what I'm saying? So, like,
turn your lemons into lemonade.
Yes, instead of throwing them at people. Because when you throw them at people, you get in trouble.
I never heard anybody say that.
Because when you just decide to bang somebody with a lemon, you get in trouble. So you got to squeeze it in lemonade. So like Bulldog Bite came from, you know, me going out for AKA the first time and not making it. So I'm just like, dang, like, and then the thing about it, like, all my friends made it. So like I gotta hold the jackets while they stroll. And I'm like, so it's just like I got to do something that's gonna like, you know, put me back out there. And it's not saying that like, you know, I was happy for them, and it's just like I didn't want to like live in nobody's shadow. Like I wanted to be my own person and do my own thing on my own accord. So then my senior year I did come out, spring 16, Beta Sig, but it's just like I wasn't Kris the AKA. I wasn't an AKA and her name is Kris. I was Kris and I happened to be an AKA.
Right.
So like I didn't let that like make my whole thing. So like as far as in the loop, like I said, I got kicked off the TV segment and I'm just like, this ain't my fault. Like I'm dealing with all of this stuff. And so like I was just sitting in my house one day because like I had all my cameras and stuff. So I dropped down a backdrop and I was like, you know what? Y'all ain't stopping nothing. Like I get more stuff on my social media. And that's when I just started to realize like the real, because in my mind I'm like, dang, I was on TV, like all these viewers. But I'm like, nah, social media, I got way more followers. Even after I pull, even because
they were interested in you to start with, because you were already doing it.
Exactly. So it's just like granted the segment was at like 5 o'clock in the morning. So it was like, people weren't really like watching. So it's like when I posted it on social media, that's when it really got around. So I'm just like, I'm gonna just cut the middleman. I was like, y'all don't want me on y'all show, I don't care, and I'm gonna do my own thing. And like from there came collaborations and just different things. So like just to do it on my own accord. So like now even with radio, like I'm at a toss up if I want to get back in, if I don't want to get back in it. I'm just right now in love with controlling my own narrative and owning my content.
I like that.
And that's the thing. It's just like if I go to any station, they're gonna want to own my podcast. They're gonna want to own my interview. Anything, they're gonna want to stick their logo on it.
They're gonna put you in this box.
Yeah. Yeah.
They'll give me syndication from my own production company.
Right. And that's just the thing. So like I'm just kind of I'm loving the idea of like doing this independent. Like I own a Breakfast Club being independent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
that's crazy.
I had nobody backing me.
Yeah.
But I like that you're, like you're saying, you're leveraging other people.
Yeah.
They're not taking control of you.
And that's what they're trying to catch up on.
Mm-hmm. And you're like, I've been doing this for 10 years, honey.
Right. It's like when you say it's like, dang, it's been 10 years. But no,
What
yeah.
is your sign?
A Libra.
You don't get many Libras.
October.
October 4th, to be exact.
Yeah, we don't get many.
Barack
You know your whole
Obama.
natal?
Huh?
You know your
Your whole
natal?
chart.
I know. Do you want to pull it up for me? Stuff like that.
I don't know. I know a few Libras, and you got some fiery energy about you.
Oh,
That
very.
seem-
I always tell people, I was just like, I'm born to be great. Barack Obama was August 4th, Beyonce September 4th, Kris Kaylin is October 4th. Something about them fours.
444. Oh, yeah.
Numerology,
Yeah, I think you got either your moon is either Leo or Aries.
Nah, I'm going to pull this up now. I have to see it.
So I have a really good question. So how do you create captivating content? Like, how do you know what's going to, like, grab the people, the viewers?
You know what's so funny? So, like, the gentleman out there, he was asking me about the Of Course I'm From Charleston video. And, like, to be completely honest with you, when me and Clay did that, what happened was I told him, I was like, let's do it. And he was just like, okay, whatever. So, like, the thing, because, like, I'm a natural reader, writer, like, I don't know. I just love those things. That's why I tell people, it's like, I'm going to get my foot in the door. If I got to write a script, if I got to get behind the camera, if I got to run audio, you cannot get rid of me. I'm going to be here. I am an asset. So, like...
Not a
Make myself
liability.
useful.
Right.
Not a liability.
So, like, I wrote down, like, at least 60 different things. Of course, I'm from Charleston. I was like, Clay, I said, I'm going downtown to film this. I said, if you're not coming, then you're not going to be viral. Like, in my mind, I'm telling myself this, like, we're going to be viral. Like, I don't know what's going to happen, but shit, we're going to be viral. And he's just like... Don't do it without me. I'm coming. Da 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 da. So we went down and we did it. And like I honestly did not expect it to do what it did. So like when you're just like when I'm planning, I will say for my interviews, when I'm interviewing people, like I do interview with intentions on going viral because like I've done like when you're doing like radio and like the artist has like an interview press run, you got like 20 jocks and like this is the time we're doing it over Zoom. So like I never want to be that person that asks the same questions that 20 other people asked you already before. Right. So it's like I'm going to investigate. Like, are you all familiar with Nardwuar?
Yeah,
I love Nardwuar interviews. Like, cause he just asks the most random questions. So like people like him, oh God, the guy who has the show on Netflix. Oh gosh, he used to have the show. Why can't I think? And I have to look him up. He's another amazing. Like I just like to study great interviewers. Like not to necessarily mimic them, but just like how they ask their questions, how they invest, like just how they get in tune with the person that they're sitting across from. So like that's what I study. But like getting to the point. So like when I interviewed 50 Cent, this was like the day before, Vivica Fox was just like, oh, he was the best boyfriend ever, and da-da-da-da. And she just kept talking about him. So I was just like, I'm going to ask him about her. So when I sat down, I interviewed him, and I was just like, Vivica Fox is saying, like, you were the best boyfriend ever, like, would you ever get back with her? And, like, because online, he's, like, a huge troll. Yeah. I thought he was going to be, like, so rude, but he was like, she was cool, da-da-da. But, like, less than 2 hours later, picked up on the Shade Room, picked up on TMZ, picked up on the Neighborhood Talk.
That's what everyone to know.
They wanted to know.
That's the thing.
No one asked him.
So it's just kind of like that when I'm thinking about an interview. So like regular content creation, like I'm not necessarily thinking about going viral. Like I had to realize the more relatable you make the content, the quicker it'll go viral.
True.
Okay.
So like that's what I had to realize with like content like that. If you create something relatable, it's because everyone can relate to it.
Maybe that's why TikTok is so booming.
Yeah, because
people are relatable on TikTok.
Yeah, and that's just the thing. So like people not trying to dress up and do like certain things. Right. So like, and I'll never forget. I had this one guy. He was just like, he was like, you don't put your personality on Instagram. I was like, yes, I do, because I'm thinking like on my stories, not on my main feed. And so like the things that I post on my story, I'm like, I would never post that on my feed.
Right.
Just because it's just like.
It's a big difference. The feed and the main page.
And I just couldn't. In my mind, I still can't get to grips with that. I'm trying. Like I'm really
that
trying.
24 hours make a difference. They're not gonna see it tomorrow.
Hello, like, and that's
I'm trying to learn that. No, that's real.
You reel people in with that 24 hours.
And that's what matters. So it's like I'm trying to get over the fact, and it's just like if I post half of the shit that I post in my story, I know I would have been viral. But it's like I'm trying to break that third wall. Mm-hmm. But like he was just like, you post more of your personality, like it's not on your feed. And I was like, you know what? You're right. Wow. But like I'm still working on breaking that third wall. So it's like, but I did realize like posting that of course, it was relatable.
Yeah.
Like, people from Charleston, everywhere in the world, whatever, they could relate to it. And it's just kind of like, it was funny. Like, it just brought attention. So it's just like, with my current content, I have to, like, break that, like, being relatable. But it's just kind of like within the interview is like, I'm going to ask that question that, like, I know everyone wants to know.
Yes. Which is the hook and, what you say? The
The
hook and reel.
The hook and reel, you got to think it in.
Tell them about that.
Yeah, so it's just like, so when we were so I went shout out to Benedict. I had the opportunity to go speak to the media students at Benedict. And it was just the hook and reel. So I was always saying, you know, like when I'm doing an interview or a commercial, like if I want you to stick around and come back to the commercial, it's just kind of like, in 3 minutes, I got a chance for you to win $1,000. Yeah. Like, if you want the $1,000, you might stick around for 3 minutes for a chance to win $1,000. Yeah. And it's just like so when I interviewed Kanye West, so that day was crazy because he came down to Charleston to do his whole campaign thing or whatever. And so like
it's just a campaign thing or whatever.
Like that yay 2020. So like Charlamagne called me and he was just like, I want you to interview Kanye West. I don't know what I was doing, but I stopped what I was doing because I know it was not as important as that. Yeah. So like, and I was just like, okay, well I gotta see if I can get in the station because technically another jock was on, but I'm like, if he pre-recorded his show, then no one's in the studio. True. When I kicked through the door and I did not see him there, I was like, tell him to call in now. Like, even if he was there, I'm like, listen, I just need you to go away for like 20 minutes. Like, please. Yeah. So, like, with that, I think, like, towards the end, he was saying, I was asking who he wanted his running mate to be, and he was like, well, his initials start with your state name, and I'm like, SC, Sean Carter. Yeah, I want Jay-Z. So, like, picked up CNN. Kanye West wants Jay-Z to be his vice president. Yeah, so that whole thing, and it's just, like, certain things like that is just kind of like, so, like, on interviewing, if I know, like, I want it to hit, I want other people to see me, like, I'm going to ask those questions. So, like,
controversial, okay.
Yeah, so, like, it's just, like, you know, the different toss-ups, so, yeah.
Question, do you ever have, this is an interesting one to ask because of your personality, right? I got to ask this. Do you ever have fear when asking those questions that you're going to receive specific, like, backlash from?
Yeah, so I was scared as hell. Interviewing Kanye West, I was nervous as hell because I didn't know what Kanye was going to get. Right. Like,
Gemini.
So, like, when I went into the interview, like, originally all these establishments that he hit up were black-owned. So I'm like, you know, if you campaigning, like, I was like, so why did you, like, target only black-owned establishments? Well, I didn't target only. Matter of fact, let my campaign manager, I was like, oh, shit, it's going left. Let me steer it back. So it's just kind of like, you know, you just got to get the temperature. And it's just kind of like, all right, let me not go. Even like when I asked 50 Cent about Vivica Fox, I was just like, he could flat out curse this lady out and say, I don't know why this bitch keep talking about me, blah, 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 blah.
Keep bringing up my past.
Right. But like the fact that he was just such a gentleman the way he handled it, I was just like, oh, wow.
Not so bad.
Look at you being grown and whatnot. Right. Even though he's just like telling Tiara, what's her name? You so owe me a $10,000. Like, he never got off of her neck. But it's just like, so things like that. It just depends on, I guess, the person. But I'm always like kind of cautious of that. Like, I'll never forget, I was interviewing Kaylani, and like, I was just like, so I was like, you know, if the guys want to talk to you, like, how, you know, what should they do? She was like, well, I don't like guys, I like girls. I was like, oh shit, okay. Well, what if everyone wants to talk to you? Like, she didn't really come out yet. Like,
she had it.
So she like just had the baby or something like that. So like, she wasn't fully out. And I was just like, okay,
you're comfortable.
Look, you're breaking news.
Right.
We breaking the internet.
Right.
Yeah.
How journalism was dead.
How does it feel being the first person to break certain content or news about?
It's awesome. Like, I will say, just to, like, you know, just coming from an independent, you know, platform, it's cool just to be able to have that platform. And to me, in my mind, it's just kind of like, one, my degree didn't go to waste. True. But, like, but two, for me, it's just kind of like, I feel like Charleston never really got that attention. Mm-hmm. So, like, in my mind, the first thing I'm like, I'm from Charleston doing this. And it's just like, to know that, like, we have things going on. Like, we can run with anybody. Like, I feel like you can put me against any other radio personality, and I'm going to hold my own. Yeah. So, like, and that's just the thing. So, when I just do these things, it's just kind of like, I don't want to say I want to prove, but just to know, like, at the end of the day, I just feel like Charleston hasn't gotten that recognition that we should have gotten for certain things.
They just like his food.
That's it. And the tourism. Because it's just like a Confederate Disney World. So that's why they like it down here.
I've never heard that before.
Where in Charleston are you from?
Downtown Charleston. West side to best side. I grew up on Cracky Street. But yeah, so, like, like, I don't know. That's just always like, I feel like the number one thing on my agenda. It's just kind of like, I just want to be like, I'm from Charleston.
You're highlighting your city. You're highlighting the city. You're bringing people to the city.
Right. And so that's just like what I want to do. So it's just kind of like, and I just want other girls who may look up to me. And it's just kind of like, my mom always told me, you cannot allow your environment to dictate your outcome. And it's just kind of like every time I like do some things and I just like kind of like amaze myself, I'm like, dang, like, I remember, like, when I was at SOA and hanging out with some Jack and Jill kids, and, like, I was on food stamps, and they was talking about people on food stamps, and I was just like, dang. But, like, I didn't feel no type of way, because I was still eating steak and shrimp, so I ain't give a damn. Like, it didn't matter to me. And, like, I don't know, it just seeing a growth and just, like, knowing, like, what I still want to do that I haven't even scratched the surface yet.
Can you explain the importance of networking and influence? Because you have both. You do both.
So I truly believe, like, a lot of people, I think when they think in their mind, like, you should, you know, being on a Breakfast Club, right? In their mind, it's like, oh, you hung out with Charlamagne, so you should, like, start moving around in his circle, which is cool, but in my mind, it makes more sense to network across.
Right.
I'll never forget when Issa Rae said that. She was like, network across, because you could, like, get in these big rooms, but then people, like, besides the person that you know who got them in there, like, you want to be able to stand on your own and be your own person. So, like, I believe, like, you know, anytime someone asks me to come on a podcast, that especially local, absolutely, because I just kind of like, all right, you get here, we do this, and we build up. So either I can, like, meet your cameraman or whatever studio that you're using, and maybe I can come back here and use this studio.
Whole point.
Yeah, so it's just kind of like, I truly believe in networking across, because it's just kind of like, at the end of the day, somebody out this equation is going to make it to the top, right? And it's just kind of like, when that one person makes it, I feel like it just breaks the levee.
Yeah.
So, like, that's why I was just like, I make it so prevalent on highlighting artists from South Carolina. Like, other artists are fabulous. Continue to send your music, okay?
But y'all got other personalities
to
promote
do
you.
it.
So it's just kind of like, if I can use what I can just to, like, highlight the people down here, and that's how everything started off. Like, I never really cared to, like, because in my first Next Up interviews, if you go back and look at them, I'm not in the camera. I never cared. Like, I'm asking questions behind the camera.
Like Vice.
Old school.
Yeah.
Vice
I
is
like
behind
that
the camera.
Oh my God.
I love Vice.
First of all, y'all. Okay, so Vice is what inspired the Next Up series.
Oh, cool.
So I'll never forget the first Vice. Now I'm about to go home on YouTube and look that up.
Yeah.
So the
Vice
first
back in the day was something.
The first Vice I watched
was.
was the one with the Migos, and then the 21 Savage one. Like, just all the whole Atlanta thing.
Oh, that was crazy.
Even
Dope.
that intro, the
That was
Gucci Man intro, and I just loved how gritty it was, and just like you just in here, like, with it. So, like, I truly, like, my first Next Up interviews, because I went, like, I pulled up on them, wherever they was at. Like, the first one I did with JV, pulled up on the east side, on America Street. Like,
Where was that?
So, like, I just love the realness of it. Granted, you know, with everything that comes with elevation, but, like, so, yes, like, when you said Vice, I just went on a completely different tangent. But, yeah, so that's what started my Next Up series. I love that. And so, like I said, I wasn't in the camera, so my goal was not, like, influencing at the time. My whole thing is I just wanted to use my platform to give these, because I feel like, I'm like, they're dope and y'all not paying them any attention. Hello, somebody drive this thing. But yeah, so like, so I was just like, so that's what I was using it for. I didn't necessarily focus on being an influencer until I got on the radio, because I'm just like, all right, because you know,
brand now.
You have to.
I had no choice, so I had to. So, like, from appearances to all of these different things,
that's how you make your money.
And that's how you start to pull all this thing together. So it was just kind of like, you know, I was Kris Kaylin, you know, on social media, but, like, I'm just doing my interviews. Like, my whole thing is, a lot of people didn't even know who to fake. Because I remember someone on YouTube, they was like, you don't even have your social media. We don't know what you look like. And I'm just like, oh, shit.
So?
They were angry about that, yo.
It was all cats, too.
Oh.
So, like, and that's right.
No.
So that's why I'm just like, all right, so people want to know who's, I guess.
Connect with the person.
Oh, that's the thing. So, like, I didn't necessarily not worry, but, like, concern myself with being an influencer or a personality until I got on air. And then, like, that just opened up a whole new door. So, like, I will say, when it comes to networking, network across. Like, you don't know who you can meet. Someone can just, like, give you their contacts, like, and just be yourself. And I was having this conversation on my podcast with Natasha. She had her podcast is called Clothes for Maintenance. And it was just like, it was an event that she went to. And, you know, like, sometimes when you meet people on social media, they're not, like, they don't act the same on social media that they do in person. And I always tell people that is, like, such a huge turnoff for me. But when you're not showing up online, your authentic self, you forget the character that you're playing.
Thank you.
So So it's like if you're playing a
be
character,
yourself.
if you're showing up as like someone that you took this a little bit from TikTok, you took a little bit of that from Instagram, and you try to mix it together, you forgot who the hell you are. So like now when somebody meets you, you don't know if you got an accent, you don't know how you talk, you don't know how you dress, you don't know your hand gestures. So it's just like right. So it's like I always feel like if you show up, like
because like comedians would do this, they create a character, but that was like a long ongoing process.
Yes.
Right.
And now everybody's just kind of slapping one together on the internet.
And it's just like, so when you meet them in person and like they feel really cold to you, it's like, no, that's the real person.
Right.
That's who that person
but
actually
you connected
is.
with that person that was online.
Exactly. And that's where the disappointment comes in. So like even so getting to my point, when you're being an influencer, show up your authentic self. Because if someone meets you in person, like I always tell people, I was just like, they're like, well, you always got to be on. I was like, I get that, but I kind of signed up for this. And I never want anyone to ever meet me in person and be like, I met Kris Kaylin. She was a bitch.
Right.
Like I could have been having a bad, and that's like my biggest fear, right?
They will do that.
And, yeah. And it's just
honesty.
like, and that's my big, and it's like, I could be having a bad day, but it's like, at the end of the day, what I have to realize is that person who came up to me excited to see me, they ain't did shit to me. So like, if I'm having a bad day, I better put it on for at least 30 seconds to this minute, engage with them as much as I can, and how they want me to. If they want to take a picture, hit you with the peace sign. And like, because at the end of the day, they're supporting me. Like, I appreciate all of that. So it's just kind of like, if I'm having, and that's when you have to learn, like, some things you can't project on other people. If you're having a bad day, if this person came up to you out the goodness of their heart and they're saying, I love your content, I share your stuff, like.
How are you so emotionally intelligent?
Listen, because first of all, a lot of therapy.
Okay.
A lot of therapy.
Like
But, you know, just having these conversations, like, with my mom and my therapist and my friends, like, you gotta be, and I will say, like, after that incident that I was in, just seeing like how people were saying horrible things about me online.
They'll cancel you real quick.
And it's just kind of like, so just, I was working at a radio station. I left a radio station. A couple months after that, I was attacked by a jock at this event that I was at. And so like from there, you know, it hit the news or whatever. I will say if something ever happens to you, do not look in them comments. Do not. The worst decision I made was looking at the Live 5 comments and seeing people write paragraphs about me who did not know me or who knew nothing about the situation. So as far as you saying emotional intelligence, because like my whole thing is I would never want to be, and I've never been that person, but I never want to be that person online talking about the next person. You don't know what that person's going through.
Exactly.
You don't know what type of mental anguish that person's going through. Like if I don't, like my whole thing, it takes nothing just to keep strolling.
Yeah.
Like it takes absolutely nothing to keep strolling, to just keep going by, like to mind your business. So like after experiencing that, like it opened up a whole third eye. So like, you know, just having to like gain that emotional intelligence and like talking to my therapist and her being the first and only person that said, Kris, you have a right to be mad because that should have not happened to you. And like everybody, you know how Southern people go like, oh, don't be mad. You know,
it's not that big of a deal.
Sorry, I'm going to bleep that out. But I was so angry. And for my therapist to be the first person to say, no, you got a right to be mad. So it's just kind of like from that point on, like, and my mom would always tell me, she was like, Kris, it's a reason why people do the things they do. You may not understand it, but it's a reason why people do the things they do. And whether it's old childhood traumas that may have triggered them or whatever the case is, she was like, you have to realize it's not you and they're projecting on you. Yes, that projection may suck and it may traumatize you.
My Lord.
But, you know, that's out of your control. So like once you get to that like point of like understanding and like emotional intelligence, spiritual intelligence, just all of that, it's just like a whole nother thing. So like now when I tell people, it's just like if I don't meditate in the morning, like just how you put your lotion and all that shit on, that's just like a part of my regimen. Like if I don't do that, I'm gonna have probably a real, if somebody say something to me, I'm just might jump back. Like if somebody say something to me on Instagram, I just might.
You might clap back. You might clap back. And
like,
then delete, and then delete.
Right.
I just need to delete.
Right. You have to. No, but like now on Instagram, before you post a comment, Instagram's like, are you sure you want to post that? It goes against the guidelines. And I was like, you know what? Delete. I don't want to lose my account. But it's just like those things as to where like, and you know, I have these conversations with my mom. She's like, Kris, you know, if this is what you want, and you know you're opening yourself to more people are going to say really mean things about you, and people who don't know about you are going to talk about you. But like if this is what you're signing up for, you got to be mentally prepared for this. So it just like was one of those things that is just kind of like, you know, this is what I signed up for. Like I cannot engage with everybody, and I have to realize everything in my battle, everything is in my fight. And a lot of times people are miserable, and if you actually click on these pages, they're like either kids or it's a private page or like it's just something
or they
so
live with
stupid.
their mama in the basement basement, and they weigh 250 pounds, and they 5'5".
It ain't even got to be all that, because everybody's been a troll at some point. If
Yeah.
you grew up on the internet, you've been a troll at some point,
Right.
in time, right? Because what ends up happening is we're not able to vent it out to the people that we should be able to vent it out to. So now we go and just puke it all over the internet.
Literally. And just being disgusting people.
Means that you need to go have some beers with your friends and bitch about some shit.
Right.
That's it. Then do it.
So many people who are doing this shit online, they don't touch grass. Like, they do
Oh,
not go
Lord,
outside. They do not touch grass.
Yes.
Like, they just sit in their house and just troll all day. And it's just like, y'all got to go. And, like, if you look at some of those people in those shade room comments, it's just like, you need to find you something to do. Like,
You got too much time on your hands.
too much.
Like,
but
I don't pay attention to comments, because I don't.
Yeah.
I don't pay attention to comments, so you can at me if you want. I'm chilling. I'm feeling great about myself out here living.
And you have to get to that point. It's like, you know what? I can close this app out, and I don't have to deal with none of this. Like, and like even with the of course video, like it was people who like started arguing. I don't know why they were arguing in my comments, but I blocked all of them.
They arguing in comments
about the of course video. I'm like, we're not, because every time it's like 50 notifications, 50 comments, and it's like the same people going back and forth. Shut the hell up under my page. Like, and everybody got blocked.
They're
Like,
having their own sidebar in your conversation.
But that's how you go viral, though.
Yeah, it is.
true.
Because and that's what the engagements. But it was like 3 days straight of that. I'm like, all right, enough of this. I've had enough.
Yeah.
Mute it.
Yeah.
Enough.
So how do you have a separation? Because it's funny that you say that, between doing that and then just being Kris outside of that with your family and etc. Because the type of business that you're in, it's 24/7.
Yeah.
It's funny. I went to this event at Music Farm, and I was just by myself because my friends didn't come out. And this guy walked up to me. He was just like, "Are you by yourself?" And I'm like wondering, like, why the hell you asking me that? Like, and like in his mind, I guess he like, and getting to the point, he was just kind of like, I just didn't think like somebody like you would just be out by yourself. And I'm saying, mine, well, shit, maybe I need to get somebody.
You should say, nah, they in the bathroom.
Right, like, cause why are you coming up to me?
Bro, they
like,
watching me.
Right, what do you want now? But like, so and it's so weird, and I don't know, but it's just like, it's always weird how people react to me. Cause like, in my mind, like, I'm minding my business. Like, in my mind, I'm just like, do it. I'm in Target. Like, I'm trying to buy some Dove. And then somebody was just like you never, like, if you ever had someone peer at you down the corner.
That's freaky.
That's the weirdest thing.
Girl, you more famous than what you know.
What you think?
I'm not gonna lie, you are.
And it's like a lot of times, like, I just think, like, in my mind, I'm like, they don't know who I am. Like, so I'm just minding my business. But and then I'll get like a message, I saw you when. I'm like, okay. So like, even,
I do that to people though. I text them, like, I just saw you at the stoplight.
It's
but yeah,
they go and be like, hey, I know you. And then it's not.
Right.
And then you embarrass and shit. So you just gotta be like, hey, didn't I just see you at Target? That feel real
How do you play it off? How do you play it off?
First, I ended up posting this one video on my Instagram. So like every Monday we do, me and my friends, SCR's Development. Shout out to Mike and Jordan. We do the live music reviews. So like artists send their music in. So we were doing it at Blue Note. Notice I say we were doing it at Blue Note. So we was doing it one night, and like, granted, I know Blue Note is an establishment, but like they don't open on Monday. And like, so some people walked in because they forgot to lock the door, and it was like, we're closed. Okay, whatever, no big deal. So like this one guy walked in, and as we're on live, he's just like, I heard your voice, so I came in.
The hell?
Okay, creep meter at 10. We're creeped out, creep. So, like, he's holding his phone in his hand. Mind you, like, with Blue, it's like a Chinese restaurant, a hair store, food line. You just
I know where you at.
You weren't walking in the neighborhood.
No, you weren't. You
like,
were lying.
Look at me.
Yeah. Yes.
So, like, he, like, walks in, and he just, like, oh, I'm trying to get my song reviewed. And so, like, because like my whole thing is you don't know when nobody nobody got on there, so it's just kind of like we're trying to assess this like how, because we don't know this man gonna shoot, we don't know nothing, and we're on live, so like I'm just like okay, so I'm just like he's looking like he's walking towards me, and like we're making eye contact, and so like mind you, like we have other people who are there who are reviewing music, so I'm like maybe Mike invited him, maybe Jory invited him, like because I know the person I invited, they're already here, but I'm just assuming like you came with one of these other people. But like he kept walking towards me, and I'm just like, hi. He was just like, that's when he was like, yeah, I heard your voice, and I was just like, Like, what do you want?
Yeah, and he was getting too famous. You need a producer.
And he was just like, so we were just like, what do you want? He was like, oh, I want to submit my music. So I was just like, you don't come in here like Mike also live. I'm like, you don't come in here doing that. So like, Mike is in the back like talking to him. Mind you, like you can see him on live, but like he's there for like another 20 to 30 minutes. He just not just leave. So it's like so uncomfortable and so awkward. So like we don't do the live music anywhere there anymore. We have an undisclosed location now.
Thank you.
But like it's just things like that. So it's like in one extreme, I'm just like, he could have, like, the guy in Music Farm, he just wanted a conversation. He just wanted to talk to me.
Yeah, he was just surprised.
Yeah, he was just surprised. He wanted to ask me about the Breakfast Club.
Somebody told him you don't take no for an answer.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's what he was going to do.
Right. And so, like, it was cool. But then it's, like, another extreme as to where it's, like, some shit like that. And I'm like, when I'm leaving here, I'm having my friends follow me home because I don't know if you can try to follow me home and have this, like, some Players Club shit because I will shoot you.
Yeah, to get you some of the boys. You have to get you some of the boys to follow you around.
So, like, it's just like...
Yourself. Like, are you promoting the show?
Right. And so it's like, now it's just like...
Think of the best of it. Think of the best of it.
I got to try. Otherwise, I just be bummed out all the time.
Right. So it's just like, now it's like, granted, I like want to go places like by myself, but it's just kind of like, now I have to realize that like people are like, they know who I am. Yeah, they know. And this is like, even if I don't know, if I don't think that they know, it's just like,
Girl, what happened when my man came out and he saw you? What did he do? He got on the ground and started bowing.
Real
so this
talk.
is what I'm saying. Yeah, you're in a total different area.
The interview before
different area, girl. Different.
Oh, you Charleston royalty.
Yeah, he went down on the ground and she was like this.
What was she like?
Yo.
What was she like? What was she doing?
What are you talking about?
Because, like,
I'm looking at her, I'm like, yeah, that's you. That's
I was
you.
like, because in my mind, I'm like, I just feel regular.
Yeah.
But other people are just like, you're not. But I'm like,
I am.
Like, let me tell y'all something. Until I can put my bills on auto draft, then
I'm regular.
And that's like, so like, when y'all do it, like, well, shit, that's how I'm feeling. Like, y'all follow me around Target. Like, until I can put my bills on auto draft, then I get it.
There. We gotta get you there.
Yeah.
Because you know what? If we can put the bills on auto draft, then you can send you with somebody to wherever you go.
Exactly.
So they ain't have people popping up on you like
I know, but like, it's still so weird to me because I'm like, people will do that, and I'm like, and like somebody was just like, oh, you're cool. I'm like, y'all think I eat people? Like,
a lot of celebrities and famous folk do, and a lot of people that try to be in the public eye. Yes. That's the point.
Yeah, and it's just like, and like I said, I never want to give that like super bitchy, like, cause that's not who I am. Right. Like, I'm like, I like that, but I like to be a good time. But it's like, I never want people to be like, oh, well, I met you, like, you're, every time it's just like, oh, you're actually cool. I'm like, what the
they so used to stuck upness.
You blew my mind because when I came, I was talking to you. It just felt like I was talking to one of my friends from back around the way.
Yeah. And that's why I tell people, it's like, I'm a regular person. That's how I tell people. I'm like, I don't eat people. Like, I don't know. No. And every time I like do an interview or a podcast, I'm gonna tell people like, I don't eat people. Like, like don't run up.
That says that.
Like, please don't run up. Yeah. It's like, don't run up on me now. Like,
branding.
Right. Hello. I don't eat people.
On top of a mountain, but in circumstances.
Right. It's just like, don't come up with me all crazy type of way, but like, we can totally have a conversation. Like, I'm always open to a conversation. So yeah.
So how do you balance everything besides your morning meditation?
That's a really good question because like, even like I said, I'm starting doing in the loop like a whole team now. But it's just like, even with that, like I was so exhausted one day. My mom was like, "You need to rest." She was like, "They'll find out how to find events in Charleston." Right? She was just like, "They'll find other events in Charleston." Yeah. But like that one day, like I just slept, and like now I'm like realizing that like I have to listen to my body. I have to respond to my body. Yep. I just cannot ignore my body.
What were we talking about before we started?
Like, got to you.
Your body don't bounce back the way.
No, it do not. Like once you crack 30, like it does not bounce back. And if you do not take the time to get the rest that you need, your body's gonna be like, all right, well, I'm gonna sit you down. And like that's literally what happened. And it was just like before that even happened, I think it was the top of the year. Like I had a sinus infection down for like 2 weeks because we wasn't looping nowhere. So it was just like one of those things that's to where like one. Organizing and planning better, so it's just kind of like if I don't shoot in a loop by Thursday, it's not gonna happen. Because Friday, like I'm running, Saturday I'm running, I'm trying to do all these different things. Like I just don't have time. Like even with this segment, like this guy wants me to do is an entertainment segment, and it's like it's cool, but it's like can it be pre-recorded? Because like now I'm getting to the point I want to have my weekends to myself. So like if I want to be able to do stuff like this, I can do it because I'm not tied into an engagement or like a dead set time. Like after I left the radio station. Keep in mind, I was working weekends 4 years. Like I have not had my I have not had my weekends for 4 years. So like when I left the station, I'm like, oh, wait, this is what y'all do? Like that's why I love a brunch.
What time were you getting up on the weekend?
I was there. I was up on the weekend at least by 7 a.m. because I had to do everything. So I had to be, I had to be. So it was nothing like with the Breakfast Club, like. Yeah. The beauty of that was like I just sat there and I sat down. So remember we were talking about like having to edit all that stuff earlier, like. When I'm sitting there, right? And so it's just like the beauty of the Breakfast Club. Like the first time I went on there, like they have like these like cameras. Like I didn't even know they were like the actual cameras. I'm expecting them to like come on with the things over their shoulders, but like BET was recording the entire time. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool, wow, right? And so like. As I'm talking to them, notifications going off. So I just did the room report. 3 minutes later, they got a girl who's in the room who's editing all this stuff down. Shooting it out. When I come in with the rumor report, and mind you, in the Breakfast Club, they have all black women producers. They're no more than 30 years old. Wow. They're no more than 30. They're all young black producers. They have Mac, Eddie, and OVO. I can't think of his name, but like they like run the cameras and stuff. But like those are the main producers. So like when you let black women run your thing, it's going to be amazing every time. Preach. But like when I first walked in the morning, one of the producers, Sim, like she writes all the topics, everything. So the room report, she wrote a script for me, but she was like, if you want to go off script, totally do that. So you have her, then you have Sid, who's like taking all the pictures, who's uploading your media content, and then like the last time I went on, I had my own drop, so it was just like the Diva Talk, Kris Kaylin doing your rumor report. So Taylor is like editing this in real time. So like I was on like early, and I said something. I was like, "What's going on, y'all, boy?" And like I heard the original drop that she did for me, but then when she put it in again, she added the "What going on, y'all, boy?" And she did this in a matter of 10 minutes. So it's like that's how that machine runs. Nice. So like all I had to do, they even had somebody come take my Starbucks order. Like, so you do get breakfast at the Breakfast Club. Hey. Yeah, so it's just like all of this is just like a well-oiled. So like why I had to be up at 7 o'clock in the morning, I had to cut my own stuff. I had to go pull my own interviews. I had to go pull my own topics. I had to go pull my own drops, and I had to upload all of. So I had to do everything that they got each individual doing stuff for. Gotcha. So like that's why I had to be up at the crack of dawn on the Saturday and on the Sunday just to do it. And it's just like if I didn't want to pre-record my show for Saturday on Sunday, then I had to go in early Sunday morning and get it done. So it's just kind of like. I have not been to church. Well, back then, like, I haven't been able to go to the church on a Sunday because I had to do the show or I had to do a live remote. So it's just like, once I stopped that and I'm just like, this is what the weekend feels like. So now it's just like when people ask me to do like if it's a booking or something cool like that, but like I don't want something as to where I got it in the middle of my Saturday, I got to do this every week at 2 o'clock. Right, I don't want to do that. Like I don't want to give up my time like that anymore. If we can pre-record it, fine. If not, then you got to find somebody else. Like unless there's a nice coin attached to it, then we can discuss. Okay. But it's just like volunteering, like, and I told somebody, I was just like writing down, like, if you want to come talk and sit and interview with me, like, my time ain't free, and you gotta respect that. Like, so if you are saying something that, you know, if it benefits both of us, absolutely. Yeah, but if it's just kind of like, if I don't know you and you want to come on my platform, I'm charging you. Like, because you just, and then it's just kind of like, I was telling the artist, like, if you want to come on, you need a media kit. Like, y'all don't have shit on y'all Instagram. Nope. I don't know nothing. What's your dang email? I can't find anything. So, and that's what I'm telling them. I'm just like, I said, we can do the interview, but I was like, what's a media kit? Okay, this is why we have the SC Artist Development. So, and that's the thing. So it's like, you, and not in the humblest way possible, but you want to sit with me and you don't got a media kit?
Right. Yeah. But honestly, if you went, I don't know, any station, any record store,
they're going to ask you for that.
Right.
So and that's the thing, that's the thing. We want to prepare you for greatness. Like you think you're just gonna sit on the Breakfast Club with no media kit? Nah, like you're not sitting on here with no media kit.
Right.
Like I got an email from the Hilltop Glove asking me for and I had to produce something. Granted, it's some things you can it's some things you can find online, but it's just like when people are asking you for media kits, one, they're not doing it to like belittle you or make you feel away. Nope. But it's like if you want a well thought out interview and you just want me to sit up here asking what's your favorite color, what's your favorite food, like if you like, come on, you gotta meet me halfway.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
you got to meet me halfway. So it's just like when people want me to interview them and they don't have a media kit, it's just like you don't have nothing on your Instagram. You don't have and I'm not doing that much of a dive on you, like because I can't find it. Like it's different if I can Google you. No, that's totally different. But like. If I don't know anything,
you gotta go talk to their grandmama,
right,
3 of their partners.
And I'm not doing all of
Some
that.
guys at the restaurant that they work at, they try to figure out
You want to be famous, you gotta do this.
And that's what I'm saying. Like you
make
gotta
yourself accessible.
Right.
You're
so
not
it's just
accessible.
like, and like when you tell artists this, so I'm just like, so when I do the live music review on Monday, so like if you need help with songwriting, they'll help you with songwriting. If you need help shooting a video, if you need a media kit, all of that is in one house. But it's just like I say you can take a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. It's like I can give you all of this stuff. I can tell you the people who do the media kit, but like I can't make you do it. Like, I cannot make you produce this information that you need to give. Yeah. And it's just like when you ask people what's their bio, I got one, write one.
Oh, Lord.
You don't know. Generator, like, you don't know facts in about yourself.
Like, you don't know anything.
ChatGPT got you.
Like, you don't know anything about you. Like, if you don't know anything about you, I don't know what you want to do.
I don't want to talk to you.
Like, I'm not a magician. I can't just...
That's why we had to write book reports and shit.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't have to be a great writer, but you gotta be able to come up with a paragraph when you need to.
Come on.
Give me 5. You can give me 5 strong sentences about yourself. But yeah, so that's just the thing. It's just, getting people as to where they need to be. So it's just kind of like, for me, like to just, some things you just gotta have.
Yeah.
Like, we can giggle all day, but some things you gotta have.
So do you have anything coming up that we can stay on the lookout for?
Yes. So I will be taking my talents to Atlanta for Women's History Month.
Hey.
So they are having a 3-day experience from March 29th through the 31st. So I will be speaking down at Atlanta City Hall. They're going to have a vendor day with just different speakers. It's going to be really awesome. And then they're going to have a brunch to close it out. So I'm super excited. I know, like, I could not believe it when the girl asked me to speak. So I also work with Media Girls Network. So it's Media Girls on Tour. And they do a lot of things. So this year I plan to be on some red carpets, doing interviews, screaming that I'm from Charleston from the top of my lungs. But yeah, so I'm super looking forward to that. So that is a date that I have coming up. So Atlanta, if you are tuning in, meet me for the Media Girls on Tour Women's History Month. It's going to be a 3-day event. It's going to be amazing. I'm dropping an episode of my podcast, the What Was Said podcast. Yep. We not as classy as y'all up here.
But
I still like it. I still love it.
So yeah, so
I love
like
you and Clay's.
Yeah, so I
you
love
all seem like you really like each other.
Yeah.
We do. You know what's crazy? Our birthdays are a day apart. He's October 3rd. I'm October 4th. It's something about that Libra energy.
Popping.
Yeah.
Y'all party. You gotta be popping.
Listen, so yeah, that's what I have. The next playlist. So if you are an artist, unsigned indie artist, if you want some exposure, submissions are $10 per song. All of that is on my social media, Kris Kaylin, and my next up interviews. Yes. So artists, unsigned artists, if you want to be on the platform, I have 2 interviews coming up that I'm really excited about. Y'all will see it when it drops. Yep. But yeah, so that's what I'm doing right now. So make sure you are connected with me, Kris Kaylin on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, _Kris Kaylin on Twitter. That's KrisKaylin. And make sure you stay tuned because I'm always keep you in the loop. But yeah.
I love how you made that a drop. I got one last question. If somebody wanted to book you, are like what areas are you looking to get into that you're not in right now? So if somebody wanted to book you in the future.
Ooh, I really want to be on red carpets. Like, that's my next thing. So, like, I submitted the application for the Dreamville media. So
wow. We were just talking about that.
Yes. So hopefully, fingers crossed, crossing everything. But if not, then I'll be there crowd surfing. But I would love to be back there doing interviews. So I really want to do that. And like, I really want to be my goal. Like, if I could get to I've done the BET Awards radio room. So if I can do the BET Awards red carpet or just like any award show just to start off. But my goal for 2024 is to do a red carpet interview.
That Atlanta will help you.
Heck yeah. So like if I can get down there and do AC3 or like one of those festivals down there or like Revolt. Well, I don't know what's going on Revolt, never mind. But sorry.
There's a lot going on right now.
Sorry. Remember, I don't want to take that out. I want to take that out. But yeah, so any festivals or anything of that sort, just to be, you're funny, just to be backstage. I'm ignoring you. Just to be backstage or on the red carpet. So I would love that opportunity.
Oh my gosh. I try not to get people in trouble. I was good this interview too.
You was.
I was real
he
good. I was on my
down.
best behavior.
You were.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yes, ma'am.
Just because you was on a time schedule, that's it. But if you wasn't, he would have been
asking
a million questions.
Yeah. We'll have to talk again.
Oh, no, absolutely. No, I love this.
Or we can be in your podcast.
Heck yeah. Oh, we will have a great time.
That's what I'm saying.
Y'all gotta come and turn up with us.
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna go ahead and get you out of here because we don't want to hold you up anymore.
No,
we appreciate your time.
I appreciate this so much.
Thank you for being patient with us.
No,
today.
absolutely.
I know we ran behind a little bit.
No, you're fine. You are fine. No, I enjoy this. Everyone's vibe is like really cool. I wish I could feel it through the camera.
Yo.
The Hilltop Glove Podcast.